Talk to me. We've talked a little bit about the sort of impacts of digital platforms, and I mean, my perspective's probably as a natural optimist, I appreciate the threat on our lives of digital platforms, but also see some of the advantages. But how do you think the world is changing the nature of community?
How do I think the world is changing the nature of
I
community?
can
And
say
the way we live.
I think I can add something to it while you're thinking about that, Thomas. I think when change happens, it always goes to extremes. So if it's a seesaw and the balance is in the middle, and we go too far one way, which we clearly have with technology, what will happen is we'll go that way and then we go that way again. And I think there is just this conversation since COVID of loneliness and this priority around loneliness. People are starting to be very receptive to the conversations that we're having here, because they're starting to realize it's quite normal to feel the way I feel because we're all talking about it, and solutions are being sought, and people's level of consciousness is raising. And I read a book in 1997 about this. We've almost evolved as much as we can physically until we decide to start putting Neuralinks in our heads, and that's not a natural evolution, but it's our emotional and consciousness that's going to start to evolve. And I think that companies are starting to realize that they've got quiet quitters, and they've got there's all sorts of issues of productivity because they're not caring enough at this level and creating communities within their businesses. And as individuals, we're realizing that we've become too addicted to the online world and to the social media and the broadcast, which might help our self-esteem, but it's not helping our self-worth. So people are reaching out. We've never had so many people apply for our community. And I think people are realizing, they're coming to the reality that I need to do something about these emotional losses.
But what's interesting for me on that, Penny, is even though the pandemic was terrible in a lot of ways, what it did for a lot of us is make us think about what we want for our futures, right? Because it seemed to be for certainly me included, a bit of a sort of a reset. And we're finding that Zavallo, we're finding that we're having more conversations over the past 3 years with people that are saying, well, that status quo doesn't work for me anymore, and I need to consider what my future looks like.